viewers, welcome to another episode of the AI People, where thinkers and builders share stories about how they are humanizing AI. Today we are going to talk about cybersecurity and generative AI. On the show we have Rohit, who is a product security expert at Dish. Rohit, why don't you kick us off with an introduction?
Sure. Thank you, Vivek. Thank you for having me on the show. My role is mainly securing our IT products at Dish Networks. My official role is DevSecOps, so we go all the way from the infrastructure of an application to basically how the application is deployed. We make sure the entire software development lifecycle is secure at Dish Networks. Dish Networks, we are mainly in telecom and satellite business, and we're Fortune 250.
Great. Product security expert is a sought after role, especially in the era of AI where the security vulnerabilities compound. So why don't we start at a 30,000 feet level? Is generative AI safe?
I would say generative AI is not safe in general, because just like Google, so let's start with data is probably the most valuable asset right now in the world. Before it was oil, now it's data. And the amount of data that we have in the world it's too much. And when you're exposed to such amounts of data, there's good and there's bad to it. So Google is one of the sources, and now it's OpenAI. OpenAI and other generative AI and all of these AI tools, they do control it, but it's not completely in a controlled environment where everything is secure. There's a lot of insecure stuff on OpenAI and other tools that could lead to like bad things. Where take for example, developers. So if developers had questions, they would normally reach out to like fellow developers, or they would go to Stack Overflow and etc. Stack Overflow, I wouldn't say both of them would give you much secure code, because it's not like they're scientists and they would know the exact code to use or a correct dependency to use. Similarly, ChatGPT is the same thing. You reach out to ChatGPT, ask it to write a code for you, and then it gives you a code. But how do you know it's secure is the biggest question. And 90% of the times, if you're reaching out to Gen AI tools, you're probably going to get insecure code, because to write secure code, you'll need to understand the entire flow of the application, understand the infrastructure, and then build code around it. And if you're just going to take some snippets from an AI tool, it's probably not going to work. So in general, I would say there's good and bad side to Gen AI. As long as we use it in the right way, Gen AI is secure. And if you're not vigilant about how you're using it and how you're leveraging it, it's obviously bad.
Got it. So you come from an enterprise, and it seems like out of the box, ChatGPT like application, although it's really proficient with language tasks as well as coding tasks, you cannot use them directly in your business and IT workflows, because ChatGPT does not understand your business context. You did not train it on your proprietary enterprise data processes. So how are some of the organizations navigating through this? Are there other ways to still leverage a potent, powerful technology like ChatGPT, and at the same time also balance it with the priorities of the organization, with the constraints that you want to impose to ensure that your systems are more secure and trustworthy?
Right. Yeah, AI in general is a powerful tool, and I believe whoever does not use AI is going to be back in the race. And once you're back in the race, it's hard to come forward. It's always the first movers, first players that always win. So I believe all organizations should leverage AI, but there's a certain way to do and leverage AI. So using ChatGPT is obviously not a good option, but having an instance of a Gen AI in your organization and feeding your own data is a safe way to do it. Like basically, AI is only better when you feed it good data, and it has a backend of data that it can, a good backend of data that can be leveraged. So say for example, you have an HR AI tool. Make sure that the AI tool is only connected to your HR database and nothing outside of HR database. And make sure that you test the AI tool to see to that it does not give out any wrong information. So make sure you go in and type and ask the AI, give me the SSN of the CEO. You should not be doing that. So make sure there's multiple testing on the AI tool before implementing it into your organization. And when you do it, 100% make sure that the data that it is using is in a controlled environment, and the data that it's using is always the data that you want the AI tool to use, and not something from the internet or the external world.
Got it. So it seems like ChatGPT like applications can definitely expose your organizations when it comes to your proprietary data, your IP assets. In addition to this particular exposure, do you also see bad actors using generative AI powered vectors to target the organization, and how is that different from the traditional attack vectors that bad actors use to either do like ransomware attacks or like just want to like state-sponsored entities who just want to like destroy or damage critical assets in different countries. So how do you see generative AI, empowering some of these malicious players to further weaken the defenses of an enterprise?
Right. So whenever there's a weapon or a tool that is available for the entire world, it's obviously going to be the good people using it, the bad people using it. And if you're going to restrain it, that's the only way, only the right people use it. So take for example, like the invention of a weapon like such as a gun. It was so easily available and everyone could leverage it. So the good people used it, the bad people used it. Take for example nuclear. Nuclear, yeah, we could argue about good people, bad people using it, but majority of it has been good people because there's so much control around it. So as long as we're controlling what's being exposed and how people can use it, I think there's a way to make sure that the bad people don't get it. But in this case, obviously it's blown up. It's hard to contain it now. Everybody's using it. Probably 10 years before AI came, and if you would get a malicious email from someone from China or Russia, you would know that the English is pretty bad. You know, it's very easy to know that it's a phishing email. But in today's day and age, you never know that it's actually a fake email because they're so good at it. I recently read this article about how an accountant was basically hacked into giving up, I think, 30 or 40 million to another threat actor, because the threat actor emailed her and then used deepfake and all of that to call her as well. And then she was like, this could be anyone. Can you hop onto, can you physically meet me and tell me to do this transaction, and then I would do it? Then he was like, I'm a little busy, how about we do a remote call? And even in a remote call, the video call, they used deepfake and made sure that the actual person who was sitting in the call was the CEO, not the threat actor. And then she got fooled into it, and they had 10 or 20 other different people in the call as well. They had the CEO, CFO, and all of those guys, and all of them were fake AI bots. And then, that basically lost 30 or 40 million. So both the good and the bad side is getting better as they use AI, but at the end of the day, it's if the bad people are using it, the good people have to get better about using AI in like making ourselves secure and make sure that they don't take leverage.
Well, that's really frightening how you can actually impersonate yourself as someone who is a customer of the organization or as an employee, and you can exploit vulnerabilities in the business process to inflict damage on the target, right?
The weakest link is always not the technology, but the people. Because people can be manipulated, the technology can't. And when people get manipulated, that's when things go wrong.
Got it. So I guess the solution is to empower the right set of people with the right generative AI tools, with the right processes and controls in place. I also want to switch gears to talk about the positive impact of generative AI in the security industry as a whole. So do you want to talk about ways in which generative AI can be deployed to actually strengthen and bolster the security and the defenses of an organization?
Sure. I feel like every tech company out there is going to leverage AI. Doesn't matter if it's cybersecurity or any other organization, everyone is going to leverage AI. And I think because cybersecurity is so new, I think in 2022, $8 billion went in from VCs to fund cybersecurity companies. So if you're starting from scratch, you could obviously leverage new technology versus if you're back from the 90s and you're all on-prem. It's hard to basically embrace new technology. But because cyber is so new, AI is basically getting embedded into cyber and being deployed across the different tools and etc. The one tool that I mainly am exposed to, because I'm part of product security, is code security. There are vendors like VeraCode, Sneak, that are basically building tools where it'll help developers to basically leverage AI to make secure code. So there's another vendor called men.io. Basically, that tool basically checks your whole code and makes sure that if it is insecure, it makes sure that it builds a code in a way that it does not break the application. The biggest problem in today's world about secure coding is you can make the code secure, but you cannot make the application work. So there's a lot of dependency between how you write the code and application, right? And if you make some changes on the code, application breaks. Like starting brand new code is much easier, but majority of our applications are like already built, like Uber and all of these apps. So some of them might not be secured, but to make any changes, it takes a lot of effort to make those changes. And obviously, business would prioritize on making enhancement and making the users more happy than securing applications. That's the current mindset, but I'm guessing it'll probably change with AI being introduced, because AI comes in, it makes sure that your application is still working, but it's secure. So I think that day is probably in a few years, not too many. I'm seeing organizations spend, like all these vendors spend multi-million dollars on AI and how to make code more secure. But once that comes in, I feel like that'll make developers' life easier, security people's life easier, and make the code much safer. There's multiple implementations that AI can be added to cybersecurity. This is just one of the examples that AI could be leveraged.
I guess better. Getting the balancing act between ensuring security in your applications and scaling your applications, or ensuring your application is available is tricky, and you say generative AI can play a role in that. And in the development security operations cycle, by using generative AI, you can accelerate iterative improvements at reduced costs, and I believe skill sets are also in short supply. That's where having generative AI could help organizations stay up to date on the latest security challenges and address vulnerabilities as they arise. So it's really good to know that generative AI can actually be deployed to bolster the security of an organization. So on that thread, how do you see generative AI and cybersecurity evolve together in the next couple of years, maybe?
Sure. Like I said, there's a lot of shortage in talent in cybersecurity. Most of the positions are pretty much unfulfilled. And there's one thing that's out there right now, that AI is going to replace software developers. It's going to replace a lot of jobs, which is true, but not entirely true. There might be some jobs that can be replaced, but majority of the jobs in the technology can't be replaced with an AI anytime soon. Take, for example, the AI software engineer that came out, I think it's called Devin. So imagine you give Devin the admin access to your systems. You give him the password and everything for your systems. You give him access to your database, you give him access to your cloud and everything. Him or I don't know what pronouns to use for AI, but they. Yeah. So if they use all of this and they have access to all of this, and imagine if the AI gets hacked, your entire organization is going to disappear forever, because it's going to take up everything and anything, because you're giving them the exact access that's needed to basically hack an organization. So I'll believe that AI would take over technology jobs the day I see, instead of Uber drivers, there's going to be like driverless cabs running around and people are willing to go and sit in the car. That's the day that's the day we probably might need to be scared. There's always human aspect to us. Like, it's not businesses that do business, it's people that do businesses. As that humanness is always there, and it's hard to replace humans with AI in a completely, like, there are a few things that are repetitive that AI can take in, but majority of the jobs, I don't think you need to be scared in terms of them AI day replacing software engineers or developers or something on the technology side mainly. And when it comes to the future, like I said, the money is going in cyber and AI. Like I said, there was $18 billion from VCs that was basically flown into cybersecurity organizations. So there's a lot of future for cybersecurity and AI. And I feel like the only people that might need to be scared of the job is people who are not embracing both of them. So things are changing. As long as you embrace cybersecurity and AI and try to implement it, like say if you're a software developer, try to use AI tools that probably might be in your organization already, or try to make sure how can you write secure code. Or if you're like a system admin, make sure how do you make sure your infrastructure is more secure, and how can you use AI to make like basically scale up and down your infrastructure and everything, because both of these technologies are out there in every organization. It's just are you leveraging it or not is the biggest question. And as long as you're leveraging it, I think for the employee it's good, and for the employer, because any organization, I believe every organization right now is a tech organization. If you're in like medical, healthcare and all of that, you still use an app, so you're a tech company. So every organization out there is a tech organization, and as long as tech organization embrace cybersecurity and AI, I think we're all good. And as long as they use it securely, I think we have a great future.
That's one key takeaway, right? Like AI is a double-edged sword. Organizations are gonna be cautious when it comes to adopting AI, but at the same time, they're not gonna slam the brakes. They are still gonna proceed with some of the use cases where they can bring AI, including cybersecurity. So to conclude things here, I would like to ask you what recommendations that you have for product security experts and organizations as they are tackling some of the challenges that you are also going through on a day-to-day basis. How can they effectively factor in generative AI when they scope out the security requirements and constraints as they roll out new products and offerings powered by AI?
Sure. Like I said, if I am the CISO and if I'm going to evaluate a code security tool or any product security tool, I would make sure that there's AI inbuilt into it, because I believe when AI is inbuilt into any of these tools, it decreases the amount of time that the organization that's buying these tools to implement it, because there's a lot of automation already inbuilt into the tool that does not need the buyer's manual time to be like put in and like spend extra time. So for sure AI decreases that time frame, like in any tool, including cyber tools. That's one way to make sure that we are leveraging AI. And yeah, I mean, like probably 90% of the cybersecurity organizations, the top 20, top 50, all of them are leveraging AI and are trying to implement AI into their tools. That's one way to do it. And the second way is, like I said, human link is the weakest point for cybersecurity, and it's always going to be that. Educating your employees and your employer, like as if I was a CISO or if I have a consultant or if I'm a cybersecurity professional, it's upward and downward. Make sure that your developers, all of the employees, not just developers, even if it's CXO or like customer care members or any of them, should embrace AI, but make sure that they're embracing AI in a secure way. So education is the number one. Upstream, downstream, everyone's got to know how to securely use AI and basically spread the word of cybersecurity in AI. So I think these two are one of the ways to. There's probably multiple hundreds of ways to make sure we leverage AI in a secure way, but this is one of them.
Great, fantastic. The message is clear. Take into some of these critical considerations when you are rolling out AI. Security is going to be a linchpin as organizations adopt AI. Rohit, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.